Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who have never been here before, Cards and Capital, I've made this channel to be the process of investing my poker earnings into the stock market. And it's been a while since I've done an update with you guys, mainly because, man, I haven't been playing a ton of poker. I've only had 4 real sessions this year, and I'm sitting down 170 bucks. So my earnings, I'm not going to go into them. I could. They're way down from what they've been because I've been dabbling in PLO and I lost a lot of money playing PLO. I definitely got in there when I shouldn't have been, and it ended up costing me. But either way, it's been a while since we talked about the account, and I got to get back and share this information with you. So, the account, in case you don't know how this works, basically what I do is anytime I have a winning session, I'll take half of that profit and I put it into the stock market. The goal here is to take this thing from a small account up to $100,000 or more and start working to the point where I can basically retire from my job and be able to just play poker and trade full time. That would be the dream. Now, I don't know that we'll get there quickly, but we're making progress and it's pretty fun. But as far as the year goes, because I haven't had those winning sessions because I took that PLO risk and it didn't go well, I ended up losing that amount and then I've been fighting to get back. So I'm even. No additional money's been added. However, I'm going to add this to the screen here. Let me go ahead and put this one on. All right, there you go. So here's the account as of right now. So we're at last time I checked in with you guys, update number 14, we were at $10,813. So the account really, if I go back to the last 3 months, we're showing almost a 10% profit in those last 3 months, which is awesome. I'm really grateful for that. But it's not because I've been adding a bunch of poker money. It's just because trades have been going well. And I wanted to go through some of the trades that have worked, some of the things that have like definitely been profitable recently, and then just kind of talk through what I'm hoping for. This week, I ended up taking some time off of my normal job where I can just focus on poker. So I'm getting paid to stay at home. I'm going to get to go to the poker table, try to make some extra money, and then whatever I make in profit, I'm going to try to be dumping into this account. I got a lot of things I want to be buying, and definitely adding shares of other stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about the account real quick. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Qualtrim here. If you're not familiar with this is a great program. It costs me like $10 a month, but it's really been a worthwhile thing to have. So let's go ahead and take a look at this really quickly here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the gain loss here. Let's talk about first some of the ones that just haven't really been big for me. Nutrien, that one has not gone well. That's down 11%, and Rio as well. So these are ones. Nutrien I've never really talked about on the channel. It's one that I don't have too many shares of. Pardon me. It's a company out of Canada, and it's basically dealing with like potash and fertilizers. I've only got a few shares, but it's down, and it's one that I think has some potential. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Rio, I will look at Rio. Let's go ahead and pull up TradingView real quick. Let me make sure you guys can see TradingView. Yep, that pulled up. All right, so pulling up TradingView, let's go ahead and look at Rio. And this is a stock that I've definitely lost some money on, but when I've got it marked up, I really think it's about to bounce. So I ended up buying in when it started to break this resistance line. It broke and it did confirm. So I thought we were actually going to stay above and go for a little bit of a ride, but it just immediately ended up reversing. Now, when it breaks over this line and then confirms, it's not a guarantee that it's going to go higher, but it's just a higher probability, right? So you're probably going from like, hey, this could go anywhere to it breaks, it's got a chance to break out, it confirms. Now you're looking at like 75, 80% that it keeps going. Instead, it just went up totally the opposite direction. It's a company that I wanted to own. They own a bunch of, it's a bunch of mining. Basically, it's a mining company. They own a bunch of different materials that they're mining. They're not really into gold and silver, a lot of the alternative stuff. But I really thought this was going to make a move. It ended up moving totally the wrong way, but we're about to hit some major support here, and I think we're going to see a bounce. So that's Rio. That one has definitely not been a winner for me. And let's take a look at some other ones here. Newmont. We can look at Newmont as well. That's a gold miner. Now, gold, if you haven't, let's look at gold real quick. Let's talk about Newmont and let's talk about gold. So first, let's look at Newmont. So this one broke down below support and is actually fighting to get back into it, which is not good. We don't want that. It did bounce off this support level, and it's kind of like just flirting with these lows right now, which is pretty surprising. But if you go to gold, if you're not, in case you weren't paying attention to the markets in gold, gold has actually broken out. I drew this chart predicting this blue line is pretty new, But this chart, we talked about a breakout probably 6 months ago, something like that. I don't recall. I'd have to find the video, but something like that. We talked about, hey, there's this reverse head and shoulders pattern here, and it's formed. And I thought right around here we were hopefully breaking out, and then it didn't. We ended up coming through here, testing again, but finally got the breakout. And so now we are looking at, let me zoom in on this a little bit more. So we get this breakout. We're at new all-time record highs, and starting to, if I go from the weekly to the daily, you can see we're kind of starting to go for like this bull flag where we come up and then we start doing some consolidating with the hopes that it would digest that level and continue to move higher. So you've got that going on in gold, and meanwhile in Newmont, you've got like almost the exact opposite, where if I zoom way out, I mean, not that you don't have a bull flag forming, but just with how bad this momentum has been, this company, the financials are not that bad on it, and it's one that I bet on, thinking, boy, this should come back quite a bit. And let me show you. Let me show you just a little bit of Newmont, actually, because I do think it's interesting. So Newmont and quarterly, you can see like they have strong revenues here still. The cash flow, yes, a little bit of an issue. They did have this like great run up, and it has been on the downside. But gold going up the way it is, I just think is really positive for this company, who is a primarily gold and silver in their mining. And so I think that this is one that I would expect to be bouncing back as far as what it's doing. But instead, while gold is going to all-time record highs, this one is not that it's at all-time record lows. If we zoom way out, too far. Okay, right here. I mean, you can see we're not way near the bottom of what this has been, but it's not in a good place at all. I expected it to bounce off this level, and it didn't. It broke down. Now testing it again, trying to turn it back into support. But I do think as gold continues to rise, and if it continues to take off, eventually the money's going to come back. The all-time high on this thing way up here, and so as they continue to increase their profit margins with the gold price going up, I think you'll see the stock start to turn around. So that is one that has been a big loser for me. And but I don't expect it to continue to be that way for very long. Let's go back into the gain loss and talk about a few more of these. Vici Properties, one I talked about when I initially started discussing the investing side of this channel. And Vici, I'm not really too concerned about this company. Not really going anywhere. The charts don't look bad or anything, and I'm not too concerned. I'm going to hold that one. They pay a nice dividend. This is a Johnson & Johnson spinoff, so all the basically all their regular stuff that they're selling, their Band-Aid brands and aspirin and stuff like that, is all here. And then so that's one. Again, we're down, but it's not a huge amount. That stock has only been around for months at this point, and I'm okay with it having a short loss now. I think long term pays a dividend. It's basically Johnson & Johnson, just a chunk of that company that's been separated out. I think it'll do fine in the long run. Let's see. So McDonald's, again, this is actually one, like, I don't know if you guys have been to McDonald's recently. I'm not really a McDonald's customer. I own a little bit of their stock. I own a couple of shares, and I like the company. They've been around forever. They've adapted. They've continued to grow. And really a lot of their revenue comes from this, like, as a company, they've got this franchise model, right? And so they're doing really well. But I did notice, I went by there for the first time in years. I went by the gym in the morning, and I needed to stay in town. And so I didn't have time. I forgot to bring breakfast with me. And I'm like, I'll just go grab an egg McMuffin. I went in, and it was like, I think I paid $5.50 or something for an egg McMuffin. And I told them, I said, oh no, not the meal, just the sandwich. They're like, yeah, that's the sandwich. Oh, gross. So I think McDonald's is actually dealing with a pretty tough spot where their fast food and cheap and affordable is kind of starting to go away. And they're getting into like higher and higher price points where customers are going to start to get uncomfortable. Curious to see what that does to their business. But General Mills down 4%. This one we will pull up the chart on real quick. Take a look at this one as well. This is another one that's kind of flirting with a support line. All in all, it had this big like negative crash on some, adjustments to what they expected in their revenues. But I still think it's a good company. I don't think General Mills is going anywhere. They pay a nice dividend. I ended up buying somewhere down in here. And it's kind of down just a little bit since then, kind of chopping back and forth. Not terribly worried. I think this one's going to end up coming back up. So that one's a slight loser for me. And then Pepsi is basically break even for me. They had a nice day today. Hormel, we talked about a while back. I was actually buying this stock as it continued to drop. We can take a look at that chart. This one had a nice little bump recently and is starting to put in some better moves. I'm hoping it can break through this resistance here. It's kind of been in this, it's got this free fall kind of pattern going, hit off the support where I expected it to, and now it's kind of flirting with this line again. I think it will turn this into support, but it hasn't yet. If we go to the daily, let's see what the daily looks like again. So it's just below, and we're trying to turn this into support. I think if we turn this into support, we've got a long ways to potentially go, which would be nice. I think this another company that like it got beat down on some surprise negative earnings at one point, and it just lost and lost and lost. I think this is a company it shot back up when it showed some good earnings, and I think it's going to continue to start to rise back up. But we'll see. That one's only a slight winner for me. Philip Morris, nothing exciting there. Coca-Cola, nothing exciting there. MCHP, that's just a microchip company. Doing okay. Walmart, up a little bit. PSA, it's storage. Nothing too exciting there. I want to get into kind of the big winners, but Clorox, another company that's been decent for me. Petroleum, PG. Let's get into some of the better stuff. So Shell up 10%. That one's been good with the oil prices moving. EPD, another oil company, and Exxon, same thing there. This UNP is railroads, and that one's been just a good steady climber for me. And now let's talk about, these are kind of the big winners. So MasterCard bought in, let's see, I'd have to go into my per share. I ended up selling one share recently after I was able to book like let's see, yeah, it was about $60 in profit. So this one's sitting pretty nice here. I think it has room to go. If you look at the charts, as far as like the ceiling on this, I don't see a ton that's going to be holding it down. But it was coming right into this level where I was starting to see some potential for resistance, and it did. If I, let me zoom this out just a little bit so you can see where this is coming from. Basically, it had been on this absolute tear right here. And if you connect these lines back, you can see it just has all these points that it's touching. I thought it might meet some resistance here, and in fact, it did. So I ended up selling one share because it had been on such a good run. But even still, I'm not. I don't know. Part of me wishes I had held on just a little bit longer. I thought there'd be more of a down move with a chance to buy back in and then ride this thing back up. That was the down move. one week and it barely went down. It's continuing. So chance I should have held. But that one was a good winner for me, and it's still continuing to be profitable. Let's go back to the winners and losers side of this thing. By the way, this is showing an $11,000. This is what I have in holdings. I do have cash as well that's sitting here. A little bit of cash in the account, so that's why you're noticing a difference. I do also have some silver SLV. I didn't put into here because it's a short-term trade. I'm not expecting to hold on to it for a terribly long time. GFI made a nice profit on that. This is another gold miner, and sold about half of my stake when we hit that high right as gold started to reverse. I went ahead and just realized some gains, made sure I sold about half my position. Planning to buy back in. I think gold's going to do some retracing and then come back up. So I'm looking to get back into that one. Visa, basically all my credit card companies. It was a while back that I started doing research on this, and they were just reporting record earnings, and credit card debt was at an all-time record high with $1 trillion in personal consumption debt. And so I just felt like, man, I should be on there. I should be owning these companies. If you look at their projections, like here, let's look at MasterCard really quick. We'll end up coming back to this, but let me just show you MasterCard. If you look behind the scenes, this thing looks just unbelievable. We'll go to the annual so you can really see it, but just continues every year to put in this like wonderful slope on its revenues. So bringing in $25 billion in revenue, free cash flow. This looks amazing. Just crazy. 11.6. I think one of the best things about this company, if we get down here, is if you look at its return, like 55% return on capital employed. Unbelievable. Shares outstanding are coming down. This is just an amazing company. Like I said, I thought I was doing something really smart by selling it and then planning to buy it back in. I may end up regretting it. I thought it would fall farther than it did on that resistance. So let's go ahead and head back this way. We're going to look at a couple of more that really were the champions of this most recent move. So STLD, I put a video out on this company a while back, and ever since I bought in at about 113 a share, I think is my average purchase price here. And you can see the move that it's making. This chart looks beautiful. So it had this nice big, I believe this is called like a cup and handle or whatever, but it comes up and it's going to go through this pattern, and then it breaks out through this top resistance here through the all-time high, and it ends up confirming it as well. We're on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. So it breaks through and then it confirms the next day. So who knows where this is going next? It's been on a nice run. I'm expecting it to continue. And this is one that we bought around 113. So we were buying right in here, and it just has had this wonderful move ever since. So this one has been a huge winner. It's not one I'm selling. It's one I plan to hold on to. I just think with inflation and with all the infrastructure spending that's coming up, this is going to be a winner long term. And so this is one that looking back on, we definitely did well. Glad we purchased this one. And one that, if you haven't seen that video, I would recommend it. If you look up STLD, I did a review on that one. That's a good one. American Express, this was my biggest winner, up 42% since I bought that one. And American Express's chart looks insane. It's just got this huge green candle. So let's go take a look at that. Yeah, this is fantastic. I had 3 shares of this company. I ended up selling one of them when we hit this level, and it started to retrace. I kind of did the same thing with MasterCard, right? It hit a critical level where I expected it to come back down a little bit, and it did. And I was comfortable. Like this one I was up so much, if it retraced quite a bit, then I'd be happy to buy back in. If not, and right now it's kind of like flirting with this resistance line. But I mean, this huge move from when we bought way back here, just, and so if this ends up taking off again, I've still got shares and I'm happy to hold them. The one at just being up that much coming into resistance, I felt like, man, I don't want to hold this, watch it bounce and come way back down and give up that much. They say, what is the saying? Nobody ever went broke taking profit, right? So got to do it once in a while, got to take a little bit. And that's what I did on AXP. The other one, I've never talked about it on this channel. That's Southern Copper. And this one has just gone absolutely bonkers recently. It's been a winner for me. It pays a dividend. It's good company. Copper prices. They just announced recently that with copper, that they were going to be, some of the Chinese manufacturers were going to be shutting down production. And so as soon as that news came out, this thing just went bonkers. So that's been really good. Got, I believe, 8 shares of that. And those have all just been a huge performer. So yeah, up almost 50% on that. If I go into the holdings here, I believe it's 8 shares that I have. Yeah, 8 shares on that one. Bought those at about $69 a share, and right now sitting at over $100 a share. So that was another big winner there. And yeah, so as far as what I'm looking to do on this coming up, there is one trade that actually I will go over this with you guys, because I made this trade and I was preparing a video to share with you guys. Didn't get it out in time. I had too many things going on. How do I get so zoomed in here? Whoa. Okay, what's going on? Hold on. I don't know what happened on TradingView. All right, well, shoot. All right, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm like stuck in super zoom in mode. Must have something to do with the stream, but it's not letting me zoom out. Okay. Either way, Deere, here, let's just go here. This is going to be a way worse version, but I'll try to show it to you. So I don't have all my resistance lines, but basically this was like the way the chart was setting up. It looked really nice. I ended up buying in, I want to say right here, and it had this this nice move, got up to 375. So I made some profit, and I brought my stop loss just too tight. And so it ended up dropping like $3 in a day. And I don't know why I got it so close and so tight, but I was just like, hey, I think it's going to keep going, but I want to make sure I lock in that profit. So I ended up making like $10 on it. But since then, it's continued to ride up 385, and the chart does look good. It's one that I'm really curious to. I'm watching it really close. Let me see. I got to be able to get this thing to work. Why is it not allowing me to zoom out? It's driving me nuts. Shoot. I want to show you this chart. Oh, well. Anyway, the chart looks pretty good, and I think Deere is a company that, I think it's a company that I'm pretty interested in investing in. So anyway, that's where that's at. I got a few things that I want to do, but I'm going to be playing a bunch of poker this week, hoping to put a lot more money into the account, be buying some more shares, And if you have any stocks that you're interested in, anything that you're watching right now that you really enjoy or really think like, man, got to check this one out, or I really recommend this one, let me know down in the comments below. Would love to hear what that is. This is update number 15. Next time I talk to you, I'm hoping to have some good news and a much higher account balance. Thanks for being here. Hope to talk to you again soon. Have a good week.